Hi guys, so we're back. We're working on a couple more pages for this mini album that I'm working on for my niece. The last video I didn't show you how I go about putting the paper onto the chipboard, so this is basically what I do. I use mono adhesive. Actually, I use a variety of different glues, but in this case I'm using Tombow mono adhesive, and I just attach it to the paper. And then I'm using a craft knife to trim out the extra paper that's in the scallops. Now, I very quickly realized my blade was incredibly dull, and after far too long trying to struggle with it, I just went ahead and changed the blade. So that's what I'm doing here. It doesn't take long for the paper to dull, but I only recently got a glass mat. I saw this being used on another video, and it was a great idea, and I would highly recommend it if you're going to be doing this kind of work, to use a glass mat, because it does go a lot faster and it doesn't dull your blade quite as quickly as it does if you use a healing mat, which is what I have, which is what that gray mat is. So now I'm just using a file to file down the edges of that paper to smooth them out, and you always want to go down against the paper, not up, or you'll peel it right up. And I'm just, again, going through a variety of different attachments, or excuse me, embellishments that I can use for that page. And again, these are all from the Just Chillin line for making memories. And now I'm going to just chalk or ink the edges of the pictures that I mounted on white cardstock, just to tie it in with the colors on that page. And then I'm just going to adhere those down and put them onto the page. Now, because this is such a small album, I'm using very small pictures, and I can't use very many of them, but again, I just want to highlight some of the people that were at the party, just as a nice memory for my niece. So I'm just taking those embellishments, and again, I've really gotten to a kick of inking the edges of all of my different pieces that I'm using for this. So now I'm using the turquoise ink in that color cue from Colorbox chalk ink. And I like these little brackets. They're glittered, although it's really hard to tell unless you're looking at it closely that they're glittered, but it adds a little bit of texture to those pieces. And now I'm just taking some dimensional adhesive. These are some scraps left from the sheet that I had hanging around, so since I don't like to throw those away, getting a chance to use those up. And they fit perfectly in that little bracket, so it worked out great. And just adhering those down. That one got stuck a little bit further onto the picture than I had intended originally, but it's okay. It looked okay. And just doing the other side. And then I'll do the same thing with the little journaling tag for the bottom. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to write on those yet or not, or if I'm going to leave those blank for my niece. I may leave them for her to put her thoughts down. But we'll see how it goes. Alright, and again, just trying to figure out, because that ribbon matches great, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to use that Stampin' Up ribbon. These are from the new 2009-2010 in color collections, and they're really pretty. Moving on to the next page, doing exactly the same thing as I did before, and you can see it's going a lot faster now that I'm using that fresh blade. And sanding down the edges again, and again, you want to sand downwards against the paper, not up, so you don't peel it up. Alrighty, and decided, nope, needed more inking. So I'm using that turquoise ink now on the edges of the scallops, and then on the flip side of that same page, just to tie it in all together. And I'm using the yellow from that cue on this next page that I'm working on, and this is going to show some of her girlfriends that were at the page. Now, what I'm doing here, I kind of lost my clip, and I didn't realize I had lost my tape. Was I had touched the edges of the picture into Versamark and then into white embossing powder. You have to be very careful when you do that because it will cause the pictures to curl a little bit, so don't go too close to the picture or you could ruin the picture. And now I'm just attaching a chipboard butterfly that I had from Maya Road. I had to go over with some pearl paint to give it a base. I used the pearl because it was on my desk, but usually I would use gesso to give it a base, but didn't really feel like getting up. Working on the boys page, inking the edges, and same thing. And then this tag, I wanted to use that cupcake sticker, but it got lost on that tag that I wanted to mount it on. So I used some more of that pearl paint just to kind of bring down the color, soften the color of that tag. And now when I adhere that little cupcake, it lets the cupcake stand out a little bit brighter against the tag. And I wanted to add a little bit more color to the edge of that tag. It just seemed kind of, a little bland. It has a little bit of a very, very light green glitter, but it just didn't stand out like I wanted it to, so I decided to use some of this turquoise glitter from Stampin' Up. And I'm taking some diamond stickles, and I'm just touching it to the cupcake on the little sprinkles and on the candle and whatnot, just to give it a little extra sparkle. And even though it's for a boy page, it is pretty light. It's not too overdone, so you can't really. It's not garish. And I'm raising up that second picture on some dimensionals, and now I'm using some of my other foam adhesive, that is my thick foam adhesive, to raise up this little cupcake embellishment. So I kind of have 3 tiers of layers going on. The first picture is flat on the page, the second picture is on dimensionals, and the third one, the little cupcake, is up on a thicker foam. Brushing off glitter, which I had everywhere. And now I'm taking some of that yellow ribbon. I finally decided a place to use it, which was to tie off the ribbon on the cupcake and add a little extra color. And just tying that off, twisting my ribbon because it's polka dotted only on one side, so I wanted as many of the polka dots to show as possible, so did a lot of twisting and turning and flipping and whatnot to try to get those polka dots all to show. And then just trimming the edges here so that I get a nice finished look on those ribbons. Alright, a lot of fluffing. More stickles, because I actually accidentally wiped off some of those stickles as I was working on the ribbon. So just touching it up. And there are the pictures of the 3 pages, pretty well complete. Anyway, I hope you like them. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.